a recent LinkedIn B2B marketing benchmark report, we found that there was a lot of excitement around investing in and using generative AI. It's definitely been a big theme of Cannes.
Very hot right now.
Very, very hot. Vimeo just released an AI video creation tool. Tell us about the tool and how it has the power to really change the way marketers can create content.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. So excited that I'm actually in an ad demoing the product. You can check it out on LinkedIn. It's mortifying, but hopefully we'll show you the power of the tools. But yeah, yesterday Vimeo announced that we've launched an AI-powered video creation suite. It's the first of its kind, and it's designed to take a process that would typically be hours to produce a piece of content and boil that down to minutes, and take the ability to create something that would typically take multiple takes and make it one take. What it really is a sort of a toolkit and a workflow that enables you to do things like generate a script with just typing in a prompt of the type of content you want to create. You can select your tone and your length, and we'll use ChatGPT to help you kind of generate a quick script. There's a built-in teleprompter, so you can just record yourself reading that script with confidence and in one take. And then we actually use text-based editing, so we'll generate a transcript of your video, and we can do things like automatically remove filler words, awkward pauses, ums and ahs with the click. And then the video will edit itself. And what that does is it can sort of take something that used to be really intimidating and time-consuming and make it much easier, which effectively just democratizes our ability to make higher quality video cheaper, faster, and more easily.
Hopefully we should be using it today for this video.
We can use the tool to just remove all the likes that I will inevitably say.
Me too. How does this take storytelling to the next level? Because ultimately, we want to get to a place where we're creating the most compelling, creative, and content. So how does this technology make that even more possible by simplifying the workflow?
Yeah, I know there's obviously a lot of discussion and concern around the potential risks of generative AI. At Vimeo, we do believe that generative AI can be an accelerator to creativity and powerful storytelling, and that's the approach we are taking with our tools. And the reason is very simple. If you ask most people who want to tell powerful stories, they will tell you that it's a lot of work. It's hard. It's a time-consuming process. And what we want to do is take the friction out of the tools and the technology side of it so that you can actually focus your energy on the ideas and on the stories. And the sort of the idea of a script generator is a really interesting one. It's not meant to replace the ability to tell a wonderful story, but it is meant to help you take an idea that's in your head and get down that first draft into words in a matter of seconds. And the thinking is that if we can make it easier and faster for everyone to just be able to get started with video, to put something out there, then they'll be able to be more thoughtful and intentional about the work. So that's kind of one angle. The other angle, I think, especially for a lot of creatives and folks who work in agencies, many of whom are at Cannes, is a lot of folks feel like there's work that they really want to pour their heart and soul in, and there's work that they kind of have to do. Yeah. And I think there's an opportunity to use AI as a tool to, again, reduce the amount of time you have to spend on kind of the work you have to do, so you can just spend more time on the work that you love to do.
So this tool sounds amazing. I can't wait to try it out. Do you think that people just dive in and try? You mentioned a toolkit.
Yeah.
What's the best way for people to get started? Because I think there's still that, when you hear the term generative AI, everyone knows they should be doing it. Very few people probably are.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of, even though it's supposed to be easy, fear of how to get started.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of barriers there. Research shows that I think it's something like 80% of people prefer video to text, but in our own data, we see it's something like 65% of people who try and record a video on Vimeo, they need multiple takes, and 25% need more than 5 takes. And it's because it's intimidating, and it's, you know, you don't have and I can tell you, as someone who's constantly, you know, trying to walk the walk and create video myself, it's really intimidating. And so I think for us, the way we've thought about it is these tools are really designed to give you confidence. So the idea of a teleprompter, right? A built-in teleprompter into your screen, it really makes it so much easier to actually try and put your face and your body in a video and put your message out there. So the tool itself is actually designed to make it easier. How do we get adoption of the tool? You know, I think for us, anyone will be able to try the product for free. And in our own marketing campaign, it's why, you know, there's a video of me trying it. So what we'll do is we'll just show. Show, don't tell, right? Let's show other people, real life people who have all of the anxieties and concerns about creating a video. I'm not a video producer, I'm not a creative. If I can do it, then hopefully many other people will try and do it as well.
That's amazing. Specifically looking at marketing, over half of marketers say that they are looking to invest in bolder, more creative tactics. Looking ahead at the future, how do you think marketers can improve their video content with the ultimate goal? Because I think so often we forget that marketers' ultimate goal is to drive business growth.
Yeah. There's a couple really interesting trends that I think we're starting to see at Vimeo that we're doubling down on. The first is actually, you know, when we think about like highly produced work, we are betting that more and more our audiences crave authenticity, right? They want to feel like something isn't overly produced and scripted, partly because we spend so much of our time on social media, partly because we're probably all worried like an AI created the thing instead of the person. And so this is why the tool that we've created is actually designed to help you get your face and your message out there in a personal way. So that's one, sort of like really authentic content. The other trend that's been sort of surprised me, but has very clearly accelerated in the last few years, is the trend away from lean back experiences to lean forward experiences. And by that, what I mean is interactivity in video has become a pretty hot trend. So, you know, in the past, if you thought about it, you know, you're used to people we lean back and we consume a piece of content. For the younger generation, those attention spans are getting shorter. I think the average attention span is now 8 seconds. So that's like less than a goldfish. And people need to, you know, they need to feel like they're part of an experience. And that they're engaging. And so what we're actually seeing is a lot of marketers now are adding interactivity into a video. And that means a poll, a Q&A, a choose your own adventure, shop into this video, click here to learn more. And what's really cool is the technology does exist today. That used to be, if you wanted to create an interactive video, that was gonna cost you $100,000 and take 3 months. We now have a drag and drop tool on Vimeo that allows anyone to do that in a matter of minutes. And there are more examples like that of this more interactive, lean forward type of content. If you just think about your kids and like what kind of content they're going to be consuming in the future, we believe more and more it will be that type.
I think that makes a lot of sense, especially for the younger generation. But that can often be difficult for marketers to embrace, to kind of let go of being so scripted and controlled. I wanted, for a second, talk specifically about B2B marketing. How do you think B2B and B2C differ today? Curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, first let me say, I fundamentally believe that they shouldn't differ. This concept of like B2B and B2C, our jobs as a former marketer, like our jobs is to communicate value and move people. And they're people. Yeah. Whether you're a B2B buyer or you're a consumer, we're all just humans who want to be entertained and interested and moved and learn something and be compelled to action by that. And I think historically there's been this sort of like B2B needs to be business boring mentality. And I think that is definitely going away. And I am excited about the promise and like the kind of work that can come out as we sort of as a sort of creatives start to embrace that idea, like B2B is probably the place where you have to be even more human and emotional and evocative, because you're selling often like a piece of software, and you have to have you have to put meaning into it. And so, yeah, like to me, there's just a bigger opportunity to up the level of humanity. And I think video is the right medium to do that, because it is the most, sort of emotional human medium we have.
We're seeing that same trend at Adweek, this convergence of B2C, B2B and B2C, and that it's no longer needs to be separated. And so it's a real opportunity, especially using a tool like what you're talking about. As that convergence is happening, what can B2B companies do now to really embrace video, to create, as you so eloquently described, that humanity and that connection that can sometimes get lost in B2B?
Yeah, I think if I were to think about my years working at like a B2C company like Amazon, or working for B2C brands, I think everyone sort of accepts that consumers are fickle and you have to take some risks. And I think for B2B, we just have to get comfortable with that idea. And I know at Vimeo, like we're trying to do that. Like we are doing weird, risky things that we're like, we broke that rule of marketing, let's just try it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think we just have to understand that like this idea that a B2B buyer, this is the same person who is also on TikTok and is also like only gonna watch Netflix shows that are really compelling. And if we don't reach them in a way that's similar, we're not gonna get their attention. So for me, it's more about just like taking risks. And I think the way that we, Vimeo, think about that is one way we can help you take more risks is if we lower the costs of investment for you to take that risk, right? Yeah. So if before, if I was trying to tell a CMO, hey, try to make an interactive video, but that was going to take months and hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're not going to try it as an experiment. But now, if it's hundreds of dollars and it takes an hour, well then why not put it out there and see? And I think that's sort of our approach, is like let's lower the barriers to actually create a piece of content, to get it out there, to publish it, to share it. And that really is the right way to enable more risk taking, and that will ultimately, I think, help B2B marketers figure out like what is the right, kind of approach for their brand.
It's such an important takeaway that to experiment, to try, and that you're going to enable marketers to do that in a much easier way and remove some of those barriers. One final question: what is next for Vimeo?
I think for Vimeo, we are just laser focused on simplifying video, how it's created and made, how it's published and shared. And ultimately, we want every marketer, every creative to be able to make great work, and we want them to get a return on their investment. And you will see us continue to innovate, similar to the launch we did yesterday, in a lot of different parts of the video workflow. We believe we're early. There's so much more work and innovation ahead in video and in the space. And we're just really excited to be helping drive that.
Thank you so much, Anjali. Really enjoyed the insights that you shared. And thank you to our audience for watching.